My name is Dakoda Potter. I'm here today with Justin Keeney from BV Nation Radio and Pete Barlow, creator and content creator for GI Low, selfless plug. And this is Tales from the Canteen. This is basically a group of individuals together that have all served, and we just sit down and shoot the shit and talk about stuff that we've either seen or done in our time of service that we thought was fun. Or we just bullshit. And then through the magical world of editing, we're going to cut the fat and give you what's good. So this is what was your MOS, Justin?
Well, first off, I started off as an 8-8 mic and spent quite a bit of time as that. Wound up a few years later, wound up reclassing over to a scout, and then wound up going
gay.
What's that drag queen about?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Anyhow, then wound up getting out of active duty, transitioned over to the National Guard, and went back 8-8 mic, and retired out as that here this last February.
No, congrats. That's awesome. Yeah, actually, yeah, you did just have your retirement party. I remember seeing posts about that. What about you, Pete? What do you do?
My primary MOS is I'm a 35 November, and I've pretty much never done it my entire Army career. I have been a motor stables NCOIC. I've been a booze Allen bitch boy. Their words, not mine. And most recently, I am an AIT drill sergeant. So I herd 250 cats while they try to get their MOS.
How's it feel to be an overglorified babysitter now?
It feels great, because I get that STAP, man. Finally, took like 5 months. Finally got my special duty pay. For a while, it was like, you know what? We're not going to pay you because AIT drill sergeants, come on.
Right.
And besides, you do it pro bono, just for the glory of it.
Just so you can wear that round brown.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason why I would want to do it. Is either that round brown and then sharpen it to a point and stab people in the face.
I think we had a conversation about this here the other night, too. We were talking about, like, I couldn't do AIT. Couldn't do AIT drill. I would be that guy that would lose my mind way too much. I might last a week.
I am that guy.
I might be a week into a cycle, and I would be done. I would be getting... They're like, no, you're too freaking savage for these knuckleheads. When I went to boot camp, it was, back in the late 90s, and they could actually still, like, treat you like freaking complete dog shit. And now it's different. It's still difficult from what I've been told. But it's completely different.
Well, they just added
drill sergeants back to AIT,
yes, they did. I was like, I was part of this group of like patient zeros of like, okay, listen,
we're gonna test this back out again.
So they took it.
Don't kill anyone. Good luck.
They took a decade off. I went to AIT during the golden era to AIT because we didn't have drill sergeants and we could drink, and then we fucked it up for everybody else.
That explains a lot.
This guy. I hate you right now.
Yeah, I know. I love me. But so it was like we fucked it up, and they kept getting stricter and stricter and stricter. And I kept seeing like the Army Times. They'd be like, "We got to bring drill sergeants back to AIT." And I was like, "Yeah," because these new soldiers I get are too damn undisciplined. I was like, "You're on orders for AIT drill sergeant." Like, you know what? Fuck. Maybe we should see how this goes. Give it like 5 to 20 more years, and then afterwards, I will be that crotchety guy in a VFW like, these kids are so undisciplined. Bring the drill sergeants back. But no, and then it was like this. That's fate. That's karma. Because I kept like fanning the flames of bring AIT drill sergeants back.
Guess what? You want it back so bad. Guess what? DA select. Boop. There you go. Fuck. Bye, Felicia.
I felt honored. Yeah, it was like my first sergeant told me.
Yeah, but like now you got privates in your AIT that follow your shit on social media, so you can't really be like come in all fucking hard charged and screaming when they're like, but drill sergeant, I saw what you made yesterday, and it seems like you really like me, but I don't know if it's really me, and that's super funny. It's super funny, and you're like, fuck. Push! Thank you for supporting me! Fuck you!
6 months after you graduate, you can buy shirts of mine. Until that point, you are dead to me.
But seriously, go like my new shit. Seriously.
Well, one of the soldiers that graduated who follows my comic on Instagram, he inspired a comic, and I was kind of like back in my mind, I was like, is this unethical or something like that? So I posted the comic he inspired, which was the, hey DS, you gave me a CQ ship. This don't work.
Hey DS.
Hey DS.
He called you DS?
No, he didn't call me DS.
I was gonna say, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, bro, that's as bad as walking up to a fucking drill sergeant boot. Fucking, when I went through, it was like, hey, drill. What's going on, drill?
Hey, drill. What's up, battle?
What's going on, battle? Are we friends now? Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
No, one of the angriest I've ever been was in one evening. I had 2 soldiers call me Barlow. Motherfucker!
What?
I'm used to you dropping the drill because that extra synonym is syllable is just too exhausting for you. But Barlow? Oh, we buddies now? We family?
Right.
It's
right,
like,
we fam now?
So what we're getting at is the addition of drill sergeants to AIT doesn't make a fuck of a difference.
all right, so they have the brains of goldfish. I've said this 1,000 times. So you can discipline them in the short term, but like they forget instantly. It's like each formation you have to. Oh, we don't talk at parade rest. Okay, then next formation. I'm sorry about it. You guys need to stop talking at parade rest. Because I think I remember a drill sergeant say, "Hi, drill sergeant." But like the comic I did where it was they get there and they're still kind of getting used to the fact that it's like, wait, do we call him sergeant or drill sergeant? Which is great because that gives me an opening. They'll just get the reporting for duty, sergeant. Motherfucker! Hang on a second. Let me get the brown round. It's like, is this a good visual cue for you?
You're like about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there.
This will defend. Big brown hat.
I never smile. None of these.
Freaking crest in the middle. Does that not give a freaking clue?
So I love when they get there and they're like, they just instinctively go with sergeant. And it was like, you've known nothing but drill sergeants your entire career.
Who taught you these bad habits?
Oh, all right. So there you do occasionally like who the hell told you could wear whatever winter PTs you want? It's like, our drill sergeants are basically, I can't fault you for that. Or like the NDSM, so all of my soldiers, whenever I do ASU inspections, I'm like, all right, there is a ribbon on your jacket. What is that ribbon? It's the I graduated basic training ribbon. It's like, no, that's the National Defense Service Medal. What do you get it for? For graduating basic training, drill sergeant. It's like, who told you that? My drill sergeants. Give me names. I might know them. I might be Facebook friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna call your drill sergeant and tell him what a freaking moron he brought into the army.
I also love it, because occasionally I'll be like, it's not the I graduated basic training one. It's like, what is it? It's the Army service ribbon. Like, no, you're thinking of the gay pride ribbon you get for free in a box of cereal. All right, what is that? And it's just like, it's an Army ribbon. It's like, so when you see sailors, airmen, Marines walking around with this medal, that's for their own branches. It's crazy. I love being a drill sergeant because I will never lack for material for my comic. Like, every time that I'm like shocked by the depth of stupidity, the bar.
This is a prime reason, right there, why I could never be an AIT drill sergeant. You just explained it all in a nutshell.
You're welcome.
Because
I see your fucking neck veins start to throb.
I would
go away now.
I would die of a heart attack by the end of the first day because there'd be so much idiocy going around from all these privates that had no idea.
Well, it's not that. Listen, you say that, but for a fact, all of us have had privates in our line units that have been just as fucking dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
They've been just as fucking dumb.
Stupidity never dies.
But the difference between a line unit and being a drill is that a line unit, I go home at the end of the day, and you go home at the end of the day, and I don't have to fucking see you or deal with you again until the next duty day.
Right.
Whereas a drill,
it's my life.
You go to your office at the end of the day, they go to their bunk, which is outside your office at the end of the day, and you can still hear the stupidity that they're saying out in their bunk, and you're like sitting in your office.
What's funny, I think they think that if I'm in my office, I can't hear them in the lobby.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Just on Barlow, such a dick. His son that my chopstick was out of regulation.
They are welcome to call me a dick. What pisses me off is, Drill Sergeant, you're my favorite. Oh, God, no.
You're now the candy sergeant.
I feel like I can come to you with any problem. No! Don't!
Do you know anything about pH balances, Drill Sergeant?
It's just
yeah, ask that to my Siamese fighting fish in my aquarium.
That's gross.
Oh, yeah. But Drill Sergeant, can you open up the mailroom again? No. Oh, God, this is like worse than a concentration camp. Oh, this is the worst thing ever.
That's when you tell me, that's when you listen, I got an address for a few privates in OSIT right now at Sand Hill. You can write them a letter, because guess what? They don't have their fucking phones, and they're an AIT section of their fucking drill, and you can actually write them and ask them just what their daily life entails of.
Yeah.
And you'll find out just how much of a concentration camp this is right now.
That is a battle that I'm not fighting, because I've learned they will complain about anything. Like, I was like, all right, so we got the football team. We're gonna go support them from our company. So we're instead of pulling CQ, instead of extra duty, we're gonna go watch. Oh yeah, we have intramural sports.
And OSIT.
Oh, AIT.
And AIT.
You know, it's 6 months, so I mean, like, it's good for morale, and plus, you know. By the way,
you condone this?
It's intramural sports.
You condone that in AIT?
Yeah. They're about
Anyways,
to murder me.
moving right along.
Moving right along, yes.
That is a conversation for later.
So, hey, Dakoda.
Yeah.
You might want to pull your mic up just a little bit closer.
Okay.
When you lean back, it gets a little bit soft.
Oh, does it?
So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I kind of pulled mine up.
Cool.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you have intramural sports and AIT that, and your privates are like, what's a day to day at Fort Huachuca for an AIT soldier? And is there anything in particular that drives you nuts that you have to allow them to do?
Oh God, yeah. Let's see. Such a open subject. Let me try to narrow it down. All right. So the biggest thing that I've noticed, the difference between AIT when I went through and AIT now, is they talk to us all the time. Like when I was in AIT, we didn't have drill sergeants, we had platoon sergeants.
Right.
We did not talk to them, they talked to us.
Right, and if you wanted to talk to them, you had to go through your squad, and then the squad through the platoon, and then
you followed your NCO
Right.
support channel.
We've discussed that. Like maybe we could change it and just the PGs talk to us at the end of the day, get a full list. The thing is, that would overwork that PG because they never stop asking fucking questions. And it's just all right, put in a student request, and then the student request box explodes. It's just can you just suck a dick for 6 months and just fuck off? And then on graduation day, it's I don't know who you are. Congratulations, whoever you are. No, they need to make their presence known, and just
like
So why don't you? Why are you not teaching the PGs to make discretionary decisions based on the position in which they're fulfilling?
It's a long. All right, the PGs, by the way, my biggest pet peeve is the soldiers messing with student leadership. I've told that to them 1,000 times.
You respect the position, not the rank.
Yeah, and it's all right, because they're little shits right out of high school. So for the most part, they still have that high school drama mentality. And
oh my gosh,
so
did you hear about Mamanakis?
They treat the squad leaders and the PGs like a drill sergeant that they can fuck with, and that pisses me off.
But the PGs and the squad leaders can't discipline physically.
I've told them you can drop them, but you got to drop with them. That's the way that it is. If
or
you're
10 repetitions of a PRT exercise.
But more importantly, I
can make the 8-count push-up last for an hour.
My favorite bird's the blue falcon. So I tell my soldiers, spread your wings and fly. You got gossip, please tell it to us. Because you're you see the soldiers more than we do. Because for us, you're asking about day-to-day activity for them. So wake up, first formation, we PT for way too short a time. And it's our hands are tied because it's we only have an hour to do PT. So prep drills, recovery drills, all that stuff, and then in between it's 35 minutes of exercise, which I will say, we're up in the mountains, so those runs do exhaust you. So at least you're getting a good workout. And then school throughout the day. We always have to have a drill sergeant present for all meals in the chow hall to make sure they're not throwing food and whatnot. And then at the end of the day, we march them back from the schoolhouse, we put out notes, and then we leave some poor schmuck as the night drill to deal with everything by themselves while everyone goes and tries to have some semblance of a life until the next formation.
Do you have are all the drills that are there the same MOS, or do you have
no
11 Bravo drills and 13 Fox drills and that are there for the AIT portion?
So it's different MOSs, and then we've got one guy who transportation or something like that. So, but they do like to ask questions about their MOS. And I was which is not mine. I'm I don't ask somebody else. Go away, or they'll use
Mongo
acronyms.
No understand.
Yeah, I was
ask me Tango question, might answer.
I was I don't know. When I was deployed with you guys, you kind of kept to yourself, and it was very much the behind the bleachers smokers, and it was just okay, whatever. You guys are antisocial. So I guess it kind of answers your question in a rambling way.
Yeah, I know that I have a couple of buddies who got DA selected and went on the trail who are 11 Bravos, but they're at camp. They're at Fort Jackson doing drill for Fort Jackson as 11 Bravos, and I talk to them all the time. I'm what the fuck are you doing there? What are you doing? And they're oh yeah, so basically I show up and fuck them up for a first hour and a half of the day, and then I let their other drill sergeants do all the shit that they need to do. And then when it's time to go to the range, I show up and run shit because I'm the only one that knows how to do it. And then I fuck them up on the range because they're all dumb. And then when we're done, the other drills come in and they train them on their other shit. And then when it comes time to blow shit up, I come in, I fuck them up for an hour or so, and we blow stuff up. And then I leave, and the other drills take. And then at the end of the day, I show up on CQ, and then they're mine for 12 hours. I just fuck them up all night, and then they come in and do that. So it's just a big cycle. So I was wondering if you have any other drills there that, like, because I know that if an 11 Bravo drill were to show up at Fort Huachuca to do the drill AIT for that, they would hate life and just want to fucking throttle privates all day.
All day long.
All day. Like, I don't get to teach you how to shoot guns. This is as close we're getting to being an infantryman. I'm fucking bear crawl.
We're ESTing,
bear
okay?
Crawl, bear crawl. Oh, yeah.
Don't flag each other with the
That
EST.
was great. EST, like, you talking about EST, the fucking kicking them out early separation?
No, not EST.
No, he's talking to
EST,
EST
so,
2000, the simulator.
game.
Oh, the sim. Oh,
Video game.
The
Pew
one
pew.
we never got to fucking do. Yeah. We just went out and shot real rounds. Because they were like, it's the only way you're going to learn.
We don't have the budget for that. We don't have a budget for tape.
I'm not going to say anything then.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I got a comment coming up. It's talking about the fact that, like, the U.S. military spent, like, the DoD has the largest budget in the world. The next 7 militaries combined do not match our budget. And yet, when it comes to, like, basic office supplies, like, hey, can we get Post-it notes? Like, we don't have that in the budget.
We dropped 4 Moabs last month. We can't get Post-it notes this month. I'm just saying.
And it's like,
So I got a question for you guys then. Would y'all hate me if I told you I was an EST trainer?
no, because I'm an EST trainer.
Are you?
You ran.
I run ESTs.
Yeah.
That's what you do all day?
Yeah, who else is going to run it? I don't do it all day, but
Fucking
like,
specialists that
Dude.
are in that unit? Because
Dude.
that's literally like that hand-me-down job in active lines.
Best duty of my career I spent working for range control up at Camp Rylea, up here on the Oregon coast.
And you just ran the simulators.
If I wasn't working on range projects,
Did you show up in civvies and run that shit?
Oh, hell no. No,
Okay,
God, no.
when we
Dude, that
went-
was full time.
When we went and did the, like, we had the simulators out at Fort Polk, and we had the simulators at Fort Riley. And both times, with both posts, when I actually got to go, I think we went twice at Riley, once at Polk. It was always a guy in civvies, and we would show up, and he would literally, the only thing he did was flip the switch, turn the computers on, and then he was like, who's in charge? And of course, the E5s and above were like, I'm not going to that dumb gay shit. Come here, corporal. Come here, specialist. Listen, take these fucking privates over there, have them run the lanes, and then come back. And we're like, all right, cool. So we show up, and the civvy's like, flips the switch, turn the computer on. Who's in charge? And it would be like me or one other guy. And he'd be like,
And he'd
come
make
here.
you sign for all that shit.
He'd be like, come here. Sign this paperwork. Here's how you run this. Here's how you set it up. Here's how you reset it. You can do different lanes. You can do challenges. All right, so when you're done, come holla at me. Go.
Dude,
and he
my
would
whole
leave, and we would be like, who wants to play fucking Galaga? Because I don't know how to run this computer.
Dude, my whole thing, man, the whole time I did it was I would show up, units would come in to train on it, use it for PMI, and they would come in, I would sit there, I'd show them how to, explain how the system worked and everything, show them how to do it, and I would stand by in case they had any issues. I would run a couple of iterations for them, and whoever the NCOIC was that was sitting in there, I'd let them kind of watch just to see what I was doing. Then once they picked it up, they're like, all right, dude, it's all you. And they would run it, and I'd sit back. I was like, hey, if you guys have any issues, I'll be hanging out, and I'll be kind of watching the line in case these guys have issues with any of the weapons or anything else like that. Because they're all running on a CO2 tank.
Right.
And if something happened, dude, we have weapons go down all the time. Friggin', they
Regular
try. I had one Joe pick up a fucking AT4. I'm like, dude, we're not running a fucking AT4.
Hey,
thing.
put that turkey shoot simulation on. Let's do this.
Dude, you'll be amazed what you could do with a 50 cal and a turkey shoot, man.
They had that. You guys had that simulator too, where you could put it on like turkey shoot or zombies, and turkeys would run across the
If
street.
we do,
and
they've not
zombies
shown
would
it to
like
me
charge
this
at
time.
you, dude. There was one I remember we had at Polk. I'd never seen it. It was a zombie shoot, and it was from the viewpoint of the top of a roof, and zombies were just flooding over the walls like you were in a compound.
Oh my God, it's
And you had
amazing.
to you were online, like your first 4 guns were M4s, the next 2 were saws, the last 2 were 240s, and you guys were on a rooftop looking over the edge, and zombies were like
you're just
flooding
running
over the
cruisers,
wall,
dude,
and
and
you're
it's just-
shooting the fucking for like 20 minutes, just shooting zombies.
We
Just
have the
fucking
shoot
laid
don't
it
shoot
down.
scenarios. Like, that's as close as we get. And it's like these like videos that were shot in the 90s. and it's just like they you were in this scenario.
He steps out and he's got the gun in his
Well, it's funny. Is there's one about like a mass shooting kind of deal, and there's like people like running at you. It's like you're just watching you like there's that fire exit right there. Why are you running right at me? Oh, you decided to throw your backpack at me. That is wise. So yeah, we don't have any like the fun like zombies or anything like that. If they have them, they have not shared it with us. But I don't mind being EST because bullet for my NCOER. It's like, all right, so AIT drill sergeants, essentially we have to be jack of all trades. Like they train us on just every little thing, just in case any little thing comes up. So like in a nutshell, like it was like, all right, we need EST trainers. It was like, yep, I'll do it. Make me useful,
Fuck it, I'll sit back in an AC simulator all fucking day and run a computer.
I remember showing up to that fucking shit and then just wanted to ask the guy, how in the fuck do you get this job? How do you end up running a simulator?
For me, it was just luck of the draw.
All day.
It was totally being in the right place at the right time.
Like, I ran a simulator in Korea, but it wasn't what you think. It was Operation Foal Eagle. It was the largest joint military operation in the world. They do it every year, and it's the ROK Army and the U.S. Army doing their simulation for if North Korea were to invade South Korea.
Right.
And my job as a E4 at the time was to sit at the computer in the fucking division headquarters there at Casey.
So what you did was basically play a high-speed version of Warfighter.
Pretty much. But all I had to do was like I take you just click the little square and you move the little square to where the grid that they give you. They're like, here's a grid, and then if anything.
So what you're saying is you were a puckster.
Right, I'm a puck. Exactly. I was running a puck. Yes, I was running a puck.
Yeah.
But my job was to observe the screen, and then if anything were to happen, explosions wise, or like if any enemy pucks were to move closer, I report
you're
it
a
up.
Puck operator.
Right.
That's exactly what you were, dude.
So I'm sitting there, and they were
struggle.
like, we need one responsible fucking person to go up, and I was like, no one raised their hand, and one fucking E5 was like, that guy, Potter will do it. Potter will do it. And I was like, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, sure, what am I doing? And they were like, you're going to go up here to the division headquarters, and you're going to work with the Casey's commander, and you're going to work with Operation Full Eagle and just run that scenario. And I was like, sweet, how long is that? They're like, 4 days. It's like, 4 days? What time do I have to be there in the morning? Got to be there at like 3:30. No PT for 4 days? Fucking A, I'm going.
Oh, yeah, but by the way, they neglected to mention that you're going to be in there staring at a computer screen for 12 hours a fucking day.
All they said was, you're going to go run a simulator on a computer, and you got to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you're going to be there all day, and then when it's done, you'll swap out with someone else at like 4:30 in the afternoon, come back, go eat chow, go to sleep, get up, do it again.
Yep.
So they're like, you report to the division headquarters over there at Casey. You're going to report there every morning at 3:30.
You're going to go to your top.
You're under their command
Yep.
until the simulation. So I'm like, dude, I'm out of the fucking company AO for 3 or 4 days. Gang, let's go. Let's do it. And then I showed up, and then this guy was like, sit there. If anything happens on that screen, just tell us. And I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. Fucking the whole first day, I was looking at this screen, and nothing happened.
Yep.
And nothing. And there's all this brass walking around. And, like, I'm the only E4 in this fucking office. Everyone's an E5, E6, officer or higher. And I'm the only E4. I'm, like, sitting in the corner. I'm like, I've never seen a 2-star general walking around here before. So I'm like this. Like, just don't make eye contact. Don't fuck nothing up. Don't look at nobody. But then, like, he ended up walking over and, like, started talking to me and shit. And he was like, put his arms on my shoulder. He's like, hey, what's going on? What's your name? I was like, well, I'm Specialist Potter, sir. And I stood up, and he's like, oh, no, chill. Sit the fuck down. Dude is cool as fuck. And I was like, he was like, do you know what you're doing? I was like, I got told to just sit here and watch this screen, and if anything happens, to tell you. And he was like, pretty much, man. He goes, this thing's about to get out. It's going to kick off here in a little bit. It's going to get crazy. Just try to keep up. And I'm like, yeah, how nuts could it be? Let me just say this. This was a simulation based on actual numbers of what their arsenal in North Korea was and how many rounds that they had, like, ready to go, artillery-wise, and then what their personnel arsenal was and how that our intel would suspect they would invade.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. All of South Korea would be gone in about 5 minutes because that's how long it fucking took for the entire screen to turn red, and it stayed that way for 3 fucking days. Like literally, you saw the first splash from the first art. I was like, I saw it on the screen. It was like a red splash, it was like a little fake fireball thing on the screen, right? It was like a map of Korea. So a red splash showed up, and I'm like, we have an artillery round just went off, and it was like they were gridding us. What's it called?
Walking.
Yeah, they were walking their rounds in. So they first splash, and it was way down to the middle of in the middle of the peninsula. And I was like, 2 seconds later, there was another splash a little closer to the DMZ, and then another splash a little further away, and then one splash dead center on fucking Dongdaecheon and Casey. And there was a short pause, and then the entire DMZ and down to the middle of fucking Korea was just red, and it stayed that way for 3 fucking days. And I'm like, yep, there's an artillery round. There's another one. There's another one. I think something's wrong. My screen's broken. It's just red. And they were like, no, it's not.
Everyone
broke.
Else's is red too.
They're like, it's not broke. Just it'll stop. It's the first artillery barrage before they start pushing across the DMZ into South Korea. And then everyone started their moving civilians out of Seoul down to the ocean to get them off the peninsula. Yeah, everyone from fucking Seoul north was dead. There's like no point even doing anything. And so for 3 days it was like that red, and then it stopped, and then it was just like a fucking wave after wave after wave of fucking Seoul. Dude, I'm telling you, if North Korea wanted to attack South Korea and do it the way that our intel says that they would do it, there's no winning that battle.
I sure hope North Korea's not watching this right now.
No, they won't be.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize.
No,
that.
they won't be.
Damn.
He doesn't allow Roku in their fucking city. Yeah. So
what a dictator.
Anyways, President Trump and Kim Jong Un settled shit. They swapped something. I don't know.
They swapped meals. I say.
Yeah, no, I don't know what they did, but I don't know. Let's not talk about that guy. He probably isn't listening now.
They're swapping lasers.
How hard is it to put a freaking laser on a shark?
I was going to say, wasn't it who's the basketball player or whatever?
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman. Isn't he the one that negotiated that? Right? Isn't that his claim?
Yeah, because I think Dennis Rodman was on The Apprentice, so it's like 6 degrees of separation. Just like it's like 2.
I have no fucking clue what you guys are talking about. I've not heard that.
Really?
No.
So actually, a while back, Dennis Rodman had gone over to North Korea because he was all buddy with Kim Jong Un at the time. And
what? The Kim family is huge NBA fans.
Yeah. So he went over there. So then when before this all kicked off, where Trump was going to go over and meet with Kim Jong Il, Dennis Rodman,
Kim Jong Un. That's
Kim Jong Il was the one before.
Dad, yeah.
So, but Rodman was friends with Il too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he used to go over there back and forth and shit like that.
Like one of the first major U.S. North Korea peace treaties was started so Madeleine Albright, who was Secretary of State at the time, she brought a basketball signed by Michael Jordan. And it was because the Kim family, huge NBA fans, especially the Chicago Bulls.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Michael Jordan.
And so Dennis Rodman is a crazy person, so he's like, you know what? I'll volunteer to be an ambassador, and maybe it's yielded some good results.
You can jump over my shitty walls.
Who would have thought Dennis Rodman could be a harbinger of world peace?
Yeah, no fucking kidding. I had no clue that happened.
Yeah.
That's insane.
All right, one of my favorite facts is did we lose a... All right. Oh, there we go.
Yep, there he is.
Oh, shit!
Right there on the screen.
So, one of my favorite facts about the Kim family is they're also huge Hollywood movie buffs. And, not even, good classic cinema. So, Kim Jong-il's favorite movie was Friday the 13th. Which isn't even the best Friday the 13th movie, just saying. That's part 6, Jason Lives. Look in your heart, you know it to be true.
Did you just drop a spoiler for those that may not have seen it?
Oh, Jason lives, but then he dies, but then he comes back.
Well, aren't they making another... They just remade the Chucky movies.
Yeah.
Yep, they're doing the Chucky remake.
Let me just say this now.
Opening weekend.
I will not fucking see that. Did you see what they did to Chucky?
They made him Mark Hamill.
Dude, yeah okay. That's different. Did you see what they did to Chucky's face? That doesn't even look like fucking Chucky.
No.
It looks like it's all animated. It doesn't look like Chucky. I think they fucked it up. I won't go see that movie. I won't. I also won't go see Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. Have you seen that?
Oh, we've all seen it.
That monstrosity. Have you seen what Sonic looks like?
They gave it
Why does he have fingernails?
Oh, and here's the even worse part. They made it here.
They made it in Oregon?
They based it here.
Naturally.
So that's why you're going to go see it.
No, that's not what. That is why I'm not going to see it.
I will not go see that new movie. I won't go see Child's Play. But that brings up what I was talking about. My point I was trying to make is that they remade Chucky. When are they going to remake the next Friday or the next Friday the 13th or the next Nightmare on Elm Street?
Well, the last Nightmare on Elm Street was 2010. I know that because I saw it in AIT because it was I didn't want to see it, but it was like, fuck, there's nothing else to do in blackface except for like go to the movie theater across the street from the barracks.
Right.
So I was like, fuck it. For $2, I'll see the new Nightmare on Elm Street. You know what? It sucked, but not that bad. Friday the 13th, it was like right before I joined the army, they did the remake because there was this whole like, let's remake all of the 80s slasher movies, but make them PG-13 and suck.
Yeah, not a fan.
So, you know what? If they want to bring back Friday the 13th, I'm on board. Especially considering with the last Halloween movie. That was good.
Well, that was directed by Rob Zombie, was it not?
No, not that one. It was, I went to film school. I really should know this guy's name. The one who directed the new Halloween. It's like a direct sequel to the first one where Jamie Lee Curtis is
right.
this,
Yeah.
like, survivalist. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it was a good movie. It had flaws, but it was like, all right, so we can make a slightly smarter slasher movie. You know, so if they want to do that with Friday the 13th, I'm on board.
I'd go see the remake.
David Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green, thank you. I need to turn in my film snob card.
Like, I know it was something like that.
Yeah.
Now, as long as they didn't fuck up the movies, they're trying to remake all these movies, and it's a great idea in theory, but then you see the trailers for them, and they're fucking them up. They're fucking them up.
You're fucking up, bud.
Yeah, you're fucking up there, bud. I don't like the way that Chucky looks in the new It trailer.
I'm excited to see what Mark Hamill does because he was so good as the Joker.
To be fair, that is a fair point.
Yeah,
I think he's at least might be the like one redeeming factor about that movie, or he might be terrible. I don't know.
We'll see. I'm gonna wait till it comes out and then I see what the ratings do on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did you guys see the new Pet Cemetery?
No,
Nope.
I didn't. I don't know if I want to see it either.
You can skip it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Like, all right, so I was on board because Pet Cemetery, in my opinion, is Stephen King's best book. Is at least his creepiest book.
That was the first horror movie I watched as a child, and it fucked me up.
It's still scary.
It fucked
holds
me up.
It's so bad.
I was
but
so
it's scary.
afraid to step my foot off the side of my bed and put him on the ground because I thought something was going to reach out and slice my Achilles tendon off, and I was going to die.
They did something clever with that in the remake.
What?
They do something clever with that in the remake. Because the thing is, like, they know that everyone who's seeing this saw the 80s version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, well, they know what to expect. They're going to expect the shot-for-shot remake. But, like, they mess with expectations a lot. Like, there is that scene where, like, so John Lithgow plays the neighbor in this one.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a scene where he's, like, walking around the bed, and there's all these close-ups of his feet and, like, under the bed and all that. You're like, oh, my God, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then he lifts the bed, and there's no one underneath it. It's like, oh, that's clever. Spoiler alerts.
But isn't the remake now? It's not a smaller child. It's like a teenager.
No, it's the daughter. The thing is, all right, they fucked this up with the trailer because like that is such a good bait and switch because we know it's like, well, we know the little son, the baby,
Yeah, gets
is the
hit
one
by
who
the
gets hit by.
Right.
And the thing is, in the movie, they set it up where like the baby's running across the street. You see the semi coming, and you're like, oh, I know this is.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't seen the trailer, that would have been a big twist because then you see the dad run into the street and grab the son. But then, like, the daughter was out there, too, and, like, the truck, like, swerves to avoid hitting the son and hits the daughter. It was like, oh, that would have been great had you not featured it in the trailer. So it's the daughter this time. So, like, and it's a smart decision because, child labor laws are better for, like, they allow the kids to work longer hours if they're older.
Yeah.
Like, with babies, and that's why they bring twins in to play a lot of babies in movies.
Right.
So, and also the fact that, like, she could talk. So like, it wasn't like the baby going goo ga gaga in a creepy way, but it was like a creepy little girl who could say creepy little shit.
All right, your role is to be a creepy little girl and say creepy little shit. Got it?
I was born
I
to
can
play
do
this
that.
You're my new best friend.
Dude, kids say creepy shit anyways. It's perfect.
But
I have a 3-year-old. And some of the shit he says.
Your blood tastes like raspberries.
Yeah, no, dude. Some of the shit I hear my 3-year-old say on his baby monitor, I lock my door at night. Because I'm terrified he's going to show up in my room and just, like, having a knife and shit.
like, not to mention, like, if you watch the 80s Pet Cemetery, it's like one of those. It's a little like Chucky, where you're like, I feel like I could very easily defeat you by like punting you.
Right.
You know, it's just sort of like if you look at like the 80s version where he's like wrestling with his baby, it's like dude, this thing weighs 25 pounds. Just
Throw it.
Throw it.
you have been thwarted, demon baby. With Chucky, like I was doing a Chucky marathon with like my cousin recently, and I was like, just kick it. You know, it's like this thing is made of like it's filled with cotton.
Just punt it.
That's
It's like freaking Kyle on what was that freaking the South Park movie?
Like kick the baby.
Kick the baby.
You know, it's like just take something heavy and like put it on top of Chucky. Like, why do I only weigh 3 pounds? I have been thwarted by this heavy backpack you put on me. No, it's like
Only if it was Chucky, it probably was like, I'll fucking kill you when I get out of this fucking thing.
and it's like, yeah, but you can't because you're a doll.
Yeah, but you see the way physics work is you suck. So here's a backpack. Good luck.
Well, it's like, oh, by the way, like, all right, so my favorite Chucky movie is Part 3. Yes, I'm that guy who, like, can tell the difference between them, because it's set in a military academy. And what's funny is I can still military explain while watching a Chucky movie. It's great. Like, there's a scene, have you guys seen Child's Play 3?
I've not.
Yes.
But there's this,
I'm not a big fan I'm not a big fan of taking a good movie and then multiplying it. Like,
there's money to be had.
Right, there's money to be had, but I think anything after, if you make one movie and it's a great, you got lucky and it's good, leave it. If you do the same thing again with a number 2 and it does good, you have beaten the odds. Let it die where it's
So how
at.
do you explain the Avengers then?
That is different. So I'm talking about. So no. The Avengers
How's
is
it
different.
different? There were
So
There's
sequels.
a story to be told.
There's a story. And the story has been told
Well,
through the comics.
and-
There's a story behind everything, and that's why you could do so many from the Avengers. But like, if you're gonna come up with an original slasher movie like Chucky,
The sequels are just remakes.
it's exactly
Yeah.
It's
Oh
just-
yeah, stuff like that is definitely. Like,
What if
yeah,
we
no.
did the exact same movie but set it in space?
Freddy versus Jason
In
in space?
But like the Child's Play 3, there's a scene where one of the characters calls Command Sergeant Major Sir.
What the fuck was that?
That just sounded like a creepy
Yeah.
kid.
What was that?
La 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 la.
No, what was that?
No, seriously.
I don't know. I heard something, but I had no,
I say Josh set up like a creepy video.
Dude, yeah.
I've got goosebumps. What the
Yeah.
fuck was that?
I don't know. I would have to go back and listen.
Listen to it. Go back and listen
Seriously.
to it right now.
Like, pause the fucking deal
I had to
and...
stop it recently.
Didn't you talk about your like the neighbors, the little kids?
No.
That sounded like it was right here.
Yeah.
I've got fucking my hair is standing up. I've got goosebumps
He's not
right
kidding.
now.
Who has no shit?
All right, so I don't know what just happened or what we caught, but we'll play it again if to show you. But I'm pretty sure we just caught something weird from right between Justin and myself.
That shit creeped me the fuck
I don't
out.
know what it was, but it gave me goosebumps and freaked me the fuck out. But if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, comment below what you think it is. And if you're on Roku or any other streaming channel there, services that this is on and you're watching, bless your house, because I don't know if this thing can jump from one screen to another. So,
Dude, that's no lie, man. That shit's no joke.
Child's Play 3, there's a scene where one of the characters calls Command Sergeant Major Sir.
what the fuck was that? That was super. Like, we all just had to take a smoke break. That scared the shit out of us. It was a little weird. Anyways, what the hell were we talking about?
We were talking about
Slasher movies.
talking about slasher movies and
Whatever.
stuff. But we got the Pet Cemetery and Child's Play.
So spooky little kids and dolls.
Yeah, and then
so-
all of a sudden we hear that shit.
Ghost Adventures. If you're watching this, hit me up in my email.
Seriously, hit us up. Hit Dakota up, hit us up over Backwoods Veterans, because seriously, that was fucking, oh my god.
Yeah, you might have something to come check out here, or maybe you can take a little insight as to what the hell we just captured on audio.
I
'cause-
say,
Please.
if we ever need to channel this force again, I'll just start talking about Child's Play movies. Or you know what? It's probably the
bro, I'm
military
good.
explaining thing. They're not a fan of military explaining movies. It's about the military.
military explaining.
Military explaining.
That's what we were talking about, was military explaining. You were talking about something in space, or no,
Well, no,
Command
all right,
Sergeant Major
so,
was.
yeah, it was in child. Yeah, we had to listen to that audio a lot, so unfortunately, I had to hear myself say a character called the Command Sergeant Major, sir, like 500 times. And it was like, oh god, is that what it sounded
But
like?
it
You poor
was
bastards.
creepy, man. So I think we'll talk about that tonight on
on your
BB
radio.
Nation too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that was freaking crazy.
really making me think now. What in the fuck could it have possibly? And we dig. There's no vents. There's nothing here. Like, our phones were off.
Yeah, all audio and everything else is only being fed through one source at the time, and that was Josh's headset.
Yeah.
Our producer. And the only other sound source that's going on right now is, aside from our voices, the fan. But that was
not the fan.
That was right in between you and me,
that was
dude.
right here.
Well,
It was
Right
it was
here.
definitely a voice. It was definitely a voice.
Oh yeah,
of
it
some
was a
sort.
voice, hands down, dude.
So you
that
know,
could be an interesting topic. I mean, like, have you guys ever had paranormal?
Yeah,
experiences?
actually, I grew up in a house in Kentucky. We moved there, and I was going into the ninth grade. I was like my freshman year. This is when we first moved to Kentucky. We moved into this house. Jackie Sanders used to own this house, and he passed away. Mr. Sanders passed away. He was a dentist in the town that we lived in. He passed away, but his wife lived there. And it was a pretty big house, 5,000 square foot, 2,500 upstairs, 2,500 downstairs, and the basement was completely finished. And the dentist, the owner that passed away, used to spend all of his time downstairs in his bar. Now, this was a completely finished bar. It was brilliant, like plaid floors, old-style Irish pub type bar. And that's where he spent most of his free time, was down in the basement.
Can't blame him.
It was awesome. It was an awesome.
Well, at least
place
it was
to
his
chill.
basement, not Mom's basement.
Right, it was an awesome place. Now, this house hadn't been touched or updated since the 60s when it was built. So when we moved in, of course, my parents were like, the shag carpet's got to go. And the red walls, we're repainting those. And we're putting
Right.
tile. So we did a lot of like renovating and updating. And my room was in the basement, away from everyone else, because I was like, well, one, I have my own living room, my own kitchen, my own bathroom, a sauna, and a bar. I'm going to live in the basement.
Right.
So my room was in the basement. And like when we first moved in, I didn't really believe in like ghosts and shit, and so I didn't pay any attention to what was going on. It just didn't like click with me that something weird was happening. But every night, like around 10:30, I would hear something that sounded like a door open and close, like someone was walking down the stairs and then like open the door and then close the door. It sounded like that, like someone was coming into the basement. So I was like, didn't really click with me what I was hearing at first. It just sounded like an old house was moving and shit. And then I was sitting in the living room and I heard it again, like for like the second night in a row. It caught my attention. Sounded like the door opening and closing. Now the door to the bar was an old, like just a hollow core, real crappy, flimsy door that because it was so like mildewy, not mildewy, but like
Moldy?
well, no, it was like humid in the basement that the door had expanded. So when I went to open, like when you go to open the bar door, it would stick. And so you would hear it, and then when you close it, it would do the same sound.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
what I was fucking hearing every night about 10:30.
Where the wood's
10,
sitting there
10:30.
rubbing up against each
Right,
other.
where you open the door that sticks, and that's the
Yeah.
sound. That is the sound I kept hearing. So, like, I'm sitting in the living room and watching TV, and I hear that happen again. I'm like in 8th grade or 9th grade at this time. So I get up and I'm like, "What is that sound?" I keep hearing it, and I walked over to the bathroom door. Nothing. Like the cabinets, I'm trying to like move stuff and make it. I opened up the door to the basement to go upstairs. Nothing. And I pushed that door to the bar open, and it made that sound. And I was like, "Yo, that was exactly the same sound I'm hearing." So I pull it closed. It does it again. And now I'm cognizant as to what's going on. I'm paying attention now. So the next
Yeah.
night, about the same time, I'm sitting on my couch in the living room, and I look at my watch, and I mute the TV about 9:45, and I just sat there quiet, watching TV with no sound on to see if I'd hear it again, and I did. About 10:15, I hear it again, brum, brum, and it sounded like someone opened and closed the door. Well, his kids still live in that town, and they used to frequent my mom's coffee shop all the time. So the next time that I saw them, my mom introduced me. She's like, "This is Mr. Sanders' daughter. They used to live in our house." And I was like, "Really? I got some questions for you." I was like, "Did your dad spend a lot of time in the basement?" And she was like, "Yeah, he loved that basement. He lived in that bar. He stayed down there all the time. Like when he was off work, that's just where he hung out. Friends used to come over to smoke cigars. They used to hang out in the bar." And I'm like, "That's funny." I'm like, "Did your dad ever, about what time did your dad usually come upstairs? About 10:30? And she was like, "Yeah, about that time every night he'd come upstairs." And I'm like, "That's interesting." And I was like, I didn't tell anybody why. And she was like, why are you asking these questions? And I'm like, "No reason. I just been having this weird idea that something's happening." And she was like, "Okay," and blew me off like, "Oh, whatever. I'm asking dumb questions." Few weeks go by. Now I start hearing what sounds like an old clock, like a grandfather clock, like that would just tick and
How
swing.
the bell would ring?
Well, not just the bell, just the ticking sound, that
Yeah.
sound. I don't have a clock in my basement at all, but that sound used to come from above my mantle on the fireplace.
Bell tolls.
Right. So So I used to hear, like, that's when I was like, not only do I, like, that was like the belief for me when I was like, yo, there is something happening in my house, but that like sounds and stuff that happens, like that energy stays in that house. Because next time I saw her, I was like, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's going to sound really strange that I'm going to ask this question, but if it's true, you're going to understand why. And she was like, what? I said, did you guys have a small clock that sat above the mantle in the fireplace in the basement that had a swinging arm and would tick? And she was like, yeah. She's like, I have that clock in my house right now. It was my dad's. And I was like, yeah. You don't find that odd? I would ask that question. I've never met you a day in my life. I've never seen your house whenever you lived in it. Why would I ask that question? And she was like, oh, my God, are you hearing that clock in the basement? I'm like, dude, I'm hearing your dad in my basement. She was like, freaked out. Freaked her the fuck out. Yep, Mr. Sanders. And he never fucked with us. He never messed with us. But that man haunted my house. And I'm not even kidding when I say that.
Well, I wouldn't say haunted. I'll just say he still roamed.
He still hung out in that bar every night. Every night. And the door used to open and close, and you could hear it. I never set a camera up. I wasn't that brave. I wasn't in catch
if you find a good Irish pub, you're always going to want to haunt it. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I believe in ghosts and shit. So
I do too, man.
That freaked me out.
That was right. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny you talk about those experiences and shit, because I remember one time, it was shortly after my mother passed away, because I was over in Iraq in 2010. It was early 2010 when I got word that my mother passed away. She committed suicide. And I came home on emergency leave and stuff, and I'm sitting there in her house, her and her widower. I was in their house, and me and my two sisters were going through a bunch of my mom's stuff and everything else, trying to figure out what we were going to use for the memorial and everything, memorial ceremony and stuff. Well, I'm upstairs in her room. We get done going through stuff, because she was big into hummingbirds, really big into them. And we're going through, and my two sisters leave the room. We're wrapping up with stuff. I'm getting ready to kill the light and get ready to head back downstairs. There's no AC on in the house. I mean, the vents weren't on. Nothing was on. And all of a sudden, I just felt this, as I'm getting ready to walk out the door, I get this feeling like I wasn't in there by myself. Like somebody else is in there. And all of a sudden, it's just every single hair on my body, and you can attest, that's a lot of them. But seriously, just stood up on end, dude. Like electricity was just going all the way through me, and I just got this huge cold chill. And all I felt was just this cold, like a burst of cold air just come up my arm, up to my shoulder, and it went away. I turned around, and for some reason, I was just like, one thing I think was, Mom? And I looked back, and she had a ceiling fan in her bedroom. And as soon as I asked, Mom? And all of a sudden, that ceiling fan just started turning. Just started rotating on its own. And it circled like 2 or 3 times, and then it quit. And I was just like, all right, dude, I'm done. I was creeped the fuck out. I was like, nope, that's it. I'm done.
I've mostly been spared creepy paranormal stuff, but like the closest I can come, I guess this kind of ties back to the military experience, is so I remember we were out doing a field training exercise. We did mail call. It was kind of weird. Not used to getting mail in the woods. But I got a letter saying that my best friend's dad had died. And I remember I was doing fire guard that night, and I heard taps. It was the first time I'd heard taps at Fort Jackson the whole time I was in basic. And so weeks and weeks go by. Family day on graduation. My parents come. And kind of jokingly, I was like, okay, who died? Because I know that's sort of that thing of, while you're in basic training, your family likes to keep personal tragedies and whatnot. And my parents like, no one died that we know of. And I get my phone, and I actually call my best friend to say, hey, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. And he's like, are you sitting down right now? I was like, yeah, I mean, I knew your dad died. But it turns out a friend of ours from high school had also committed suicide while I was in basic.
Oh,
the
shit.
same week his dad had died. I bring that up. That's flat out just sad. But my parents dropped me off at the barracks at the end of family day.
Right.
What did I hear? Taps. I heard taps twice the entire time I was in basic training. Both were days I found out about somebody dying.
Damn.
So yeah, it's a strange coincidence.
Yeah.
I've had one other paranormal experience. It was about a couple months after my wife's stepmom, who raised her, had passed away of cancer. her dad, or her stepmom and her dad had separated prior to her finding out that she had cancer. Mm-hmm. And then when she found out that she had cancer, to help, my father-in-law moved her back into the house because he wanted her to be comfortable.
Right.
And so she used to lay in the bed all day. And now Hilda was like straight up from Germany, hardcore German mom.
Yeah.
Like, she was very physical as far as like, she'd punch you to get your attention and like, but I loved Hilda, man. She was great. She was a good mom. She was a good person. She took care of her family. She was very family oriented. She fucking hated me. I don't know why, but she used to beat me up a lot. Like,
Germans aren't big on warmth. So.
She used to beat me up a lot.
It could have been tough love.
Yeah, I know that now. It was exactly that because Hilda really liked me because she knew I took care of Macy and so Hilda really liked me. But she used to beat me up a lot, and she never liked me going like I used to just walk their house like I owned it, because I lived there because I was there a lot. And she never liked me going into their room. If Tommy were to like, hey, can you go in there and grab something? She would not. She didn't like me going in there. Well, anyways, this was months after she had passed. I had come back on leave to visit my wife's family. And I ended up getting. I knew I was sick or something. I didn't feel good, and there in the master bathroom they had a big, deep like clawfoot tub, and so my wife was like, "Why don't you just go in my dad's bathroom, take a bath, relax? We'll get you something made to eat." So I'm like, "Cool, I'll go in there." And I opened the door to go in the master bedroom, and shit you not, the fucking blankets on the bed on Hilda's side where she had passed in that room. She eventually passed in that bed, in that room. I open the door, and the blankets on her side of the bed fucking come all the way up and down to the end of the foot of the bed, and the pillow comes off the bed at the door. I'm not kidding. This is, swear to hand to God, this is exactly what happened. And
so let me get this straight. You witnessed it.
I witnessed this.
You witnessed the covers actually coming up
out of the bed, up and over, out of the bed.
Like somebody was actually
like
getting
someone
up
was
and
getting
threw
up
it.
out of the bed. Like someone threw the blankets off of them, up out of them, were coming out of the bed because someone walked in the room. Yeah, like if you were laying in bed and then someone walked in your room and you weren't expecting it, throw the blankets up off you.
You're
and
like,
hop
what
up.
the fuck?
Yes, that is what I witnessed. The blankets came up off the bed and went to the foot of the bed, and the pillow came up off the bed and went to the foot of the bed. And I saw that happen as I opened the door. All that happened, and I fucking hauled ass back across the opposite side of the house, and I was like, I am not going back in there.
Dude.
I said, that was it for me. I'm not going back in there. And my wife was like, oh, shut up. You're overreacting. That didn't really happen. That was probably
go
like
up
that.
and go look.
Right. So I was like, go look. The blankets are pulled back. The pillows are off the bed. Go and look. And when we went in there, not only had that pillow that had come off, another pillow had come off and laid out on the floor since then.
I would say the creepier twist would be that the bed's completely made.
No,
dude,
that would have made me look like a psychopath. No, I wanted it to stay unmade. But so my wife was like, "Well, I don't. Well, whatever. You're overreacting." And so Tommy comes home from work.
Do you not understand what took place?
She thought that the bed had just never been made, and that I was overreacting because I'm dramatic. And so she was like, "You're over. This didn't really happen." And so Tommy comes home from work, and he walks in his room, because I closed the door behind me. I'm like, I'm not fucking going back in there.
Yeah.
So Tommy comes home from work, and he goes in his room, and he walks back out, and he's like, which one of you assholes been sleeping in my fucking bed? And I was like, who? Who? No, not me. No, I told you. Basically, look. And so she was like, what do you mean? Tommy's like, I made my bed this morning when I left. So I know one of you dicks has been sleeping in my fucking bed. Which one of you have been in my room laying in my bed?
Like,
and Macy
bruh.
was like, okay, so now we need to talk. So she explained everything to Tommy, and he was like, yeah, that's probably Hilda. He's like, so Hilda he bought her big tubs of like M&Ms and shit, and that's what she would munch on because she smoked, he bought her weed to help her, not be in so much pain whenever she was really, really bad.
Right.
And so she would smoke, and then she would just eat M&Ms and popcorn, and she had this big bucket. And all night, he's like, dude, that drove me fucking nuts. All night long, you'd hear. And so he was like, yeah, no, that's Hilda. And I was like, so you've seen this, because he was so nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
I was like, so you've seen this before? He's like, oh, dude, every night I hear that fucking bucket going off. And he's like, it sounds like she's in the bed swirling that fucking bucket around and eating popcorn and M&Ms. Yeah. He can still hear that. And so, yeah, no, I'm a big believer in the supernatural and the afterlife, because so that shit that we heard, man, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out. I'm done.
I think another big one, too, for me was actually a few months ago, so shameless plug to these guys, but the Ghost Adventures guy, Zach Baggins, the guy, the lead guy from Ghost Adventures. So he did a special for their show, but it was called the Demon House. It was a house that he bought in town in Indiana. I think it was like Terre Haute or something, is where he bought this house. But they did so much research and everything else because there was so much what they determined to be demonic activity in this place. It was particularly in one, it's down in the basement. They cornered it to whether it was either in the stairwell, because they found some items that were buried. There was like a section of dirt in the floor and everything else of this basement, the bottom of the stairwell, where some items had been buried. And they unburied them because they were trying to do some work on the stairwell and stuff. And then, because of the rise in activity, they wound up reburying it, but one item. And what happened, and then there's another section of the basement where, as they would go through, they would pick up a lot of activity. They pick up a lot of EMF spikes. They pick up a lot of EVPs. They picked up a lot of different, like their wide spectrum cameras that they would use.
The FLIR they would use?
Well, it's like a FLIR. It would pick up from ultraviolet all the way to infrared.
Which, hold on, time out. On that exact topic, we're talking about the Ghost Adventures FLIR. Why the fuck do they have working FLIR for Ghost Adventures, but I can't get a working FLIR for my goddamn Bradley when I was in?
Right.
I could, like, you're telling me you can see ghosts with your shit, but I can't see that dismounted squad in the wood line with mine?
Because it's change in temperature. Is what it is. That's what they're picking up.
Right, but what I'm saying is their shit worked. I never had an IBAS that fucking worked.
Well, it wasn't
really.
FLIR. It wasn't FLIR. It was a wide spectrum camera. Is what it was. So
heard
you're
it here
seeing
first.
a picture like you see it
has
now.
a bigger budget than the DoD.
I'm telling you, dude. But anyhow, so they had all this activity. Is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on top of that, another thing that was explained was that a lot of times when you're dealing with a lot of demonic energy, apparently it can, because of the frequency and electromagnetic spectrum, I guess, apparently, I don't know, I'm not a freaking scientist, I'm just trying to explain as best I can, but, like, those energies can actually use stuff like, anything that produces some sort of energy, like even how we're talking through these mics, through the cable and stuff, is sending energy to the board.
Right.
And whatnot. So that energy can use that to travel. And it can actually have an effect on you. It wasn't but two, and there was one guy who total skeptic. Total skeptic. Went down, was doing, he was a, what's the word I'm looking for? He was like a guy that does evaluations on, not an appraiser, but somebody who comes in, like,
I was gonna say appraiser.
checks the condition of certain things, like your foundation and shit like that.
Home inspector.
Yeah, the guy was like a home inspector, and he's in the basement, and Zach's following him and everything else because they're looking at different stuff with the house. And 2 days later, this guy was in the hospital. Because he said that he was just like, dude, there's something about this that just doesn't sit well with me. He's like, I don't like it. He's like, I don't know what it is, but I just got this weird, creepy vibe. And he felt that way the whole time. And even as they were in the upstairs, the main floor of the house, they're following him with Aaron Goodwin, and sitting there following him with the camera. And about that time, as they pan over one of the bedrooms, all you see is just a solid black mass just out of the corner, because as it's panning over a doorway, and you see it go from one corner room, and you catch it as it pans, all you see is just a big black mass go through. And about that time, 2 days later, this guy's in the hospital due to organ failure. 2 days later, I had my first heart attack. After watching this, do I think there's a possible connection? Possibly. It was also the same time that I found out about the shit with my bladder. All in that same time frame.
Because you've not had any kind of past problems?
Nope. You can ask Josh. You can ask Josh.
All those
the man that has known me 90% of my life, over half of my life.
All this stuff just popped up out of nowhere?
All after watching that show. And it's crazy to think about. I went to his freaking Instagram page. just to go look to Zach's freaking Instagram, and there were all these people that were talking about watching the show, and then there was a lot of people that said that they watched the show, either them or somebody that they knew that was very close to them, wound up either having financial problems, having similar health problems, and all this other shit.
So I will not be watching this episode.
Do not.
I'm gonna watch this episode.
Dude, it will
You're a
creep you the
madman.
fuck. And here's the thing about it. This dude sat there, and he went through and literally enclosed the entire house, boarded up every single window. He did a full lockdown in this house that he bought by himself. Took out all the TVs, everything. And this dude, like, locked up, boarded up all the windows, boarded up all... They literally bolted his ass into the house. They blocked up the freaking doors, everything. So he was in there all night and everything by himself. No radio, no TV, just him and a couple X cameras that they had set up. And he's sitting there in the main bedroom, and he's like, all right, dude, I just gotta... He'd been picking up shit all night, and you could see little blips of weird shit going on throughout the house all night. And then he sits there, he goes in his room, and he's sitting there just like, dude, my head's freaking... I don't know what the hell's going on. So he went and sat down, and all of a sudden, you see him on the bed, and he's got a camera pointed at the bed, where he's looking, and you just see him sitting there, all of a sudden just go, what the fuck is that? And he's looking into the pitch black. And he's like, what in the fuck is that? Oh shit! And he just loses it, and all of a sudden you just see this black mass just completely, even on night vision, just comes launching out of the freaking corner of the screen and at him, and all of a sudden freaking everything goes fuzzy. He had to deal with, he had a lot of nightmares afterwards. He had massive migraines, and he had to go in and have eye surgery.
Did anything happen to the crew? I know you said it was just
It was just by himself.
But you still would have had like post-production stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious if like anyone else from that show.
There were other people on the crew that wound up having some health issues too.
I would say if like people watching it are having health issues, like I imagine people like editing it all together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it was creepy, dude. It really was. So I mean, and what's sad is that when I went the last time I talked to my primary care provider, I was just like, okay, swear to God, do not think I'm crazy about this shit. I was like, because I'm seriously, I don't know. I was like, I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is what, because my doc asked me through the VA clinic. He was just like, so have you ever had any previous episodes of dealing with all this stuff? You know, prior to the last couple months? Nope, never. Blood pressure, friggin' heart issues, none of it. So now I'm down to 50% on one side of my heart. Working. Since I saw that shit. So that's why I say, I'm not saying I'm a full-on true believer, but do I believe that maybe something may have been an influence? Quite possibly. So, I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Just got a text message saying red rum. Don't know what that means.
Right.
I'm just kidding. No, we're good.
Last I checked, this wasn't Timberline Lodge.
Danny Torrance isn't here anymore.
No, what the
Oh, no.
fuck did he say?
Mrs. Torrance.
Andy's not here anymore, Mrs. Torrance. Oh my god. I'm still caught up on the fucking Ghost Adventure thing. I'm still caught up on this fucking thing.
I know, right?
Well,
Well, what do you think got us onto this?
I don't know,
Shit.
man.
Chucky.
That's exactly what it,
It's just Chucky's fault.
Yeah, blame Chucky.
Chucky got us on
Chucky.
this conversation.
Fuck Chuck.
But what's funny is I was like racking my brain trying to think, like, do I have any other paranormal stories? Because like your stories are good. Mine was like, you know, it's like weird coincidence. If there was ever an opportunity for me to have a paranormal experience, it would have been in Germany. Because like right after I got there on Halloween, no less, I took a staff duty shift for like $100. Good deal. But I just gotten there, and by the way, Germany, especially Hessen, come fall, super creepy. It's like
Yeah.
all the trees are gnarled.
Yes.
There's crows everywhere. It's always dark and cloudy. Love it. Perfect weather for me. But so the barracks we had in Wiesbaden were World War II era.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And I was complaining about the Vietnam era barracks we had at Fort Stewart, but like in Wiesbaden, so like I'm like part of the staff duty responsibilities is you're going around the arms room, which is in the basement of the barracks, and you're making sure that everything is locked up and all that. But they do not bother to turn the lights on. They got the emergency red lights on. So
Bro,
I'm down there.
Turley Barracks in friggin' Mannheim, same exact thing. Castle Grayskull,
Spooky,
bro.
update them.
I'm telling you, bro.
Update them.
So I remember
Do it.
I'm down there like checking like the arms room, like like locked, making sure and like signing off and things. And I just like hear like this small noise on the other side of the hall. This is about a year and a half removed from Afghanistan, so I'm like I'm a big tough guy. I hear noise.
I'm a big tough guy.
I'm like,
I cleared total caves in Afghanistan. Fuck this.
I hear a noise. There's no waiting around for the ghost to come kill the Nazi ghost to come kill me. It's just sprint the other side. Okay. I'm in the light. There's people around. We're good. So
Till it comes walking out. What are you doing here?
What are you doing in my
why are you
basement?
occupying my cousin?
Come here. I got a tent. I'd like to show you.
It's like, nah, I'm good.
Come in and take a shower.
Oh god. So like,
It's a real gas.
wow. But
Too
like,
soon?
Boom.
so like, again, if you ever need to make a horror movie, you're like, where should we film it? The barracks in Germany, they're creepy, they're spooky, they'll never be updated because what's air conditioning?
The open windows.
Yeah.
Ugh. If you're ever gonna get stationed in Germany, buy a fan right away.
Yeah.
I tell all my soldiers that.
Yep.
If you're ever going to station at Fort Polk, don't
Don't.
Don't get stationed at Fort Polk.
Oh,
Just
all right.
don't.
Deck statement the shit out of that station.
So I do that to my soldiers all the time, which is like, cause we're the ones who give them their orders. I love fucking with them, cause like they'll just be, drill sergeant, where am I going to? It's like
You're going to Fort Hood, bitch.
always. Well, half of them go to Fort Hood, but I'll do like, you got Fort Polk? Like no, it's I'm kidding. Air Korea. Congratulations.
that's so much worse.
What's funny is like I was gonna pull the Fort Polk thing on a soldier once. He got Fort Polk. I was like, well, it's just 100%.
That's why you just screw them. Like, guess what? You got Fort Drum. No, I'm kidding. You got Fort Polk.
No! Is there any duty assignment that won't make you say no? No!
Carson.
Oh yeah, that Carson movie's sweet.
Campbell.
Hunter, you're in Savannah.
Fort Riley, as much as I hated it when I was there, after being at the other places I've been, Fort Riley's the dope.
If you love SoCal, go to NTC.
Don't go to NTC. Don't
NT
ever.
no.
Don't ask to be stationed with Whitehorse. All right, don't do that. Why would you ever
What, you
do
go,
that?
you mean Black Horse?
Black Horse, White Horse, the fuck horse. Don't go to NTC. Don't ever.
Fuck any horses.
Why
kids.
would you want to go to the shithole desert of NTC? Let me tell you something about NTC.
What?
If you're stationed there, it's fucking 3 hours from civilization.
Lies.
Not lies.
Bro, I have
3
been there
hours.
maybe from the middle of the fucking box.
Yes, no, from the station, from where you're at.
From main post.
To anywhere with civilization worth going to. 3 hours. You're a 3 hour round trip, so you're an hour and a half drive.
Thank you.
Sorry, let me specify. 3 hour round trip. You got 3 hours of your day to spent driving.
Well, if you're
Hour
going
and
to
a half.
like San Diego or
Anywhere worth going. Where are you going to go?
I mean,
worth
aside from
going?
Victorville and Barstow?
Yeah, where are you going to go?
Well, hour and a half north to Vegas, motherfucker.
What'd you just say? How
Vegas.
far? How far?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
To Vegas.
To Vegas, yeah. You got to drive an hour and a half to do fucking anything. And there's nothing.
It's still
there's
something to
nothing
do.
there. We're going to do 2 weeks in the box and a week out of the box. 2 weeks in the box.
And guess what
and a
you're
week
going
out
to
of
do
the
while
box.
you're out of the box?
You're going to do
going
weapons
to fucking
maintenance.
Vegas,
You're going to do
motherfucker.
weapons maintenance and reset.
And you're going to have your fucking downtime, too.
The day and a half before you go
Well,
back
guess
to
what
the
I'm
box.
doing for that day and a half? I'm going to get fucked up.
Oh, man. Fuck that.
Just saying.
I would never want to go and volunteer to be stationed at NTC. No
Dude,
way.
I had many guys that have been at fucking NTC. One of my best friends I fucking went, that I was stationed over in Germany with, left Germany, PCS to NTC, and he fucking loved it. Granted, he was in a HET company. He was in a fucking HET unit down there. So, yeah, he was white cell 99.9% of the time.
I got a controversial opinion here. Fort Hood, not a terrible assignment. Here's my
Bro,
justification.
there's a reason they call it Fort Hood. It's
Or
Fort
into Hood.
V Hood.
All right, no,
That's
here's
all there
I'm
is
not,
to it.
I will not defend Colleen. I've been there. Colleen sucks.
Gestures.
But I was gonna say, well, they got the tilted kilt too. That was the first time I ever saw a tilted kilt before.
My asshole's never been the same since going to Gestures. The hot wings from hell. fuck my life.
But
that's all there is to it.
Here's why I think Fort Hood doesn't suck. I've never been stationed there, but I've been TDY there. All right. What is within like that 250-mile radius? You got Austin, you got San Antonio. Weekends are only as boring as you let them be.
That's
You
true
got two
anywhere
big party
you go,
cities.
dude.
Not necessarily. I'm trying to think like, all right, like
Yeah.
my current duty station right now is, I swear, it is like drifting away from Tucson. It's getting further and further away to the point that eventually I'll need a mileage pass to get there.
Fort Huachuca.
So listen, I'm trying to think of, like, usually you do have that sort of like little like beacon of hope. Like when I was at Fort Stewart for 3 years, we had Savannah. And if you really felt adventurous, you had Jacksonville. So there was stuff to do.
Right.
So, like, it's again, all right, like, what's funny about Fort Stewart, though, is that 250-mile radius that you could travel without a mileage pass. What was right on the edge of that? Atlanta. What was on the southern border of that? Orlando. So it was like, you need a mileage pass to go to these two things on the bubble.
Ugh.
But you still had Savannah, so that was cool.
Savannah's overrated.
I love Savannah. I will die on that hill.
I mean, it was okay for
It's
my
tiny.
time there.
The problem with Savannah is it's tiny. You can see Savannah on a 4-day weekend. And then after a while, it's like, well, let's get drunker on River Street. But there's also like a ton of
Fuck
little...
that. You go down there during the summertime, dude, especially over 4th of July weekend, Tybee Island.
Oh, Tybee Island.
That's where it's at, bro.
That's where you get trashy drunk. No, actually,
Hey, you're back.
Tybee Island, the best time to go, little secret, in case you get stationed at Fort Stewart or Hunter, winter, because you don't have the tourists there.
Right?
And so, like, it's like you and your friends own those bars. And you don't have to deal with thousands of, like, where's Becky at? I just saw her, and, she lost her shoe. I'm trying to find Becky.
The epitome of, hey, white girl, you're so basic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, Fort Polk, you got
Nothing?
New Orleans.
Nolans.
That's like 3 hours away, though, right?
Yes. But once you're at Fort Polk, you give up fuck. You don't have
You
fuck
give up.
anymore. You don't have the heart to put in a mileage pass because one, you know it's going to get denied, so you just go and risk it and don't get in trouble. Right? Everyone does that. But you got Houston, which is also 3 hours away. You definitely put a mileage pass in to go there because it's fucking Houston, and you don't go there without other people with you, and most likely you're getting in trouble. But it sucked being at Polk because you have those two places, and it's cool that you can go there. But Houston's only fun for like a day or so, and then you've done everything you could do in Houston, worth doing. New Orleans, you think, Mardi Gras, well, guess what, asshole? That's once a year.
Yeah.
And guess what fucking Fort Polk does that time every fucking year?
Training.
They go to the goddamn box
Yeah.
every year.
purpose.
On purpose.
Never
because they
fails.
know that every single person on post is going to go put a 4-day weekend and go to fucking Mardi Gras.
I'm gonna give Third ID some credit because at Fort Stewart we did a time off for St. Patrick's Day because they knew that people were gonna go, they'd be hungover, so it was like either we did half days or we did 4 days or something to accommodate. Because like for those of you who don't know, coastal Georgia all about St. Patrick's Day. That's their Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
it's a big Irish settlement down in there. I mean, fuck. They got the big-ass Erringle bra in the middle of freaking River Street.
All right, so to tie it back to the subject of ghosts. All right, so Savannah's big thing is it's a very haunted city.
Yeah.
So it's extremely old. What's funny is I've had conversations with people when I'm trying to sell them on Savannah. I'll be like, Savannah, most haunted city in America. And then some douchebag would be like, Boston's more haunted. Like, by what barometer are we doing this? Okay,
If they're
let
just
Savannah
gonna do
have
that-
a thing.
Dude, you want to talk about shit like that? If we're going to go down that rabbit hole again, spend some time at the Graveyard of the Pacific, bro.
Where?
What they call the Graveyard Pacific. You know where it's at? Right up the street here, the mouth of the Columbia River.
Road trip.
Right now. Let's video it. Let's record it. Let's go tonight.
I'm down.
Don't look at me like that. You
Ooh.
just had a ghost child yell at me in my fucking ear in your house.
Right.
We're going.
I say we do the show at the graveyard.
I say, yeah, we're going to film a little. We're
not
going to
gonna
add it
go
into this
on
channel.
to- I'm not going down that bar, dude.
You need to grab
Fuck
your
that.
fucking nuts and let's go.
These guys have no idea about the bar.
You
apparently.
need to grab your nuts
We want
and we're going to go.
I would say you planted the idea.
So he thinks we're gonna go at 11 o'clock tonight.
We're going to go after we get done shooting his
Actually,
radio
I lied.
show.
I got a flight
That's what
tomorrow.
I said. You're thinking that
Probably.
We both
we're gonna
have a
go at
flight
11
tomorrow.
o'clock tonight.
That's like a 2.5 hour. It's
The show-
from
the
here,
show-
it's about a 2-hour drive up there.
It's cool.
The show gets done at 10.
Let's hop in my Prius.
And then once we kind of wrap things up and whatever, it's good 10:30. You have a Prius for rental?
I did.
Dude, yeah.
Where are you?
Where
been?
have you been?
What do you think we've been giving him shit about this whole time he's been here? You got a Prius.
Well, the first time I
That thing
saw
come
him
with
was
the Death
yesterday
Lamb?
at the event,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Okay, fair enough.
Or I mean, at the sorry, it was at breakfast.
To be fair.
To be fair,
To be
All right.
fair.
Here's why I'm not pissed about that. One, great gas mileage. Two, it is on the right coast. Because the first time I got a rental car, because like Justin was like, "Hey, make sure to like check your flight itinerary." I was like, "It's like I'm an adult. I know." Holy crap! So my rental car, I got it through Enterprise, which I found out it's a Latvian company because I had to call them and like explain things to them. Like I was just like, all right, on Enterprise, like I just typed in Portland, and the one Portland option comes down. I was like, okay, well it's clearly the big Portland. And so I checked my email, and it's like, let me just verify this. It's like Portland, Maine. I was like, why would anyone go to Portland, Maine? Stephen King sets all of his scariest books in Maine. I'm not going there. But like no, like I'm just like freaking out. I'm at work too, so like every 5 minutes, someone just and so I'm like on the phone. And I'm trying to explain to this Latvian guy. It's like, no, all right, can you change my reservation for Portland, Oregon? It's like, we have Portland, Maine for you. This is good. Like, no, can you change it? Like, Portland? Yes, we have Portland. It's like, let me give you the airport code that I need to get this. Yes, Portland, Maine. It's like, PDX. Does that mean anything to you? Portland, Maine. It's like, cancel it. It will be €50 to cancel. Fine, charge me €50. I lived in Germany. I know that's about the same. And so, like, last minute, like, it is less than 24 hours before I thought I was going to fly out because I missed my flight. Yeah, he heard about all that stuff. So I was just, I'm on my phone, just like, get me another rental car. Do not care. I get to the airport. It's like, all right, I don't care what it is. 4 wheels, brakes, maybe a radio. We're good. And then as soon as I, like, drive to your house, it's like, you got a Prius. Like, I didn't even realize I got a Prius.
He's like, wait, what?
Whatever. I don't care.
so you were going off about the sound that came up here a little while ago and everything like that, but you didn't not going off about the sound that Prius makes.
My Prius makes no sound. It's still like
Bullshit. When it's going down the road, you don't hear it go, I'm gay.
Okay. You know what it sounds like when it's at an idle? Homo, 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 homo.
All I know is I have a car on the right coast. We're good. I'm fine.
Well,
And I
on
gave you
that,
guys plenty to talk
As the man
about.
once said, moving right along.
moving right along.
Me good.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and end this episode. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Justin Keeney from Backwoods Veterans.
Thank you
I
very
want to thank Pete Barlow from GI Low. My name is Dakoda Potter. I'm with the Veterans of Comedy, and you guys have been watching Tales from the Canteen, and we'll see you next time.